Hi everybody, it is Michelle from Knitting on the Side. Today is Sunday, May the 16th. Coming to you from a slightly different location today, and you might hear some wind outside. Um, I just kind of wanted to come in and show you what I've been working on and what I'm wearing. This is the peacock shirt that I made. I finally got it washed and kind of blocked it out a little bit. It still looks a little bit wavy where the kind of the lacy area is. That'll flatten out some more over time, but right now it's a little bit wavy right there. But if I was to make this shirt again, I think I would add a little bit more short row shaping in the back because the front neckline is just a little higher than I would like it. And that might kind of change a little bit as I keep pulling it down, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Right now it's just a little high up here. And this was a pattern from Lene Holm Samso, or Lynette. It's called Peacock Shirt. It's a fingering weight yarn. I used Hobie Friends Cotton 8/4, and I am very happy with it. I used, I think, 7 balls of it to make the shirt. So other things that I've been making, the baby blanket is finished. I cast it off Friday morning, I think it was. And so it is all done, ready to wash and give away. I had enough yarn to do one more repeat of the pattern, but my knitting needle cable was breaking, and it's a steel cable that has like a nylon coating over it, and the nylon had broken a long time ago, like after about the first repeat on here, and I've just kind of been dealing with it all the way through. But on that last section that I did, the cable had started to fray, and so you could feel that wire in the cable snagging on the yarn and poking me in the hands. And I really thought it was long enough already, and it's plenty big. So I decided to just go ahead and bind it off and call it good. And just I'll use that other little bit of scrap yarn for something else someday. But yeah, the blanket turned out plenty big enough the way it is. It's 40 inches wide by 52 inches long. I used 31.32 ounces or 888 grams. I had 107 grams left over, which, like I said, it would have been one more repeat, but there wouldn't have gotten 2 out of it. I could have gotten 1. My gauge, since I used a US 11 needle, I was able to get 7.5 stitches and 12 rows on my 4 inches square. And the pattern is Rumour Afghan from Lion Brand Yarns. It was on the label, on the inside of the label of the cover story yarn that I used. And that color, that bright color, is Alchemy. So that is all the stats on this blanket. It's done, thank goodness. Since you saw me last, I talked about last time making some chunky rib pants, and I got those made. They look really skinny, but this is 2x2 ribbing and it does stretch a lot. And this yarn is Yarn Bee brand Fresco fibers, Fresco fiber, color's red. I have a little bit left over. It's I used a little less than 100 grams for this. I can't remember, what did I say? 72 grams to make this. So I could have gotten by with just 1 ball of that yarn for these. And I made these 6 to 12 month size so that they'll fit the child when winter comes. They kind of remind me a little bit of like long underwear. They're so cute and they're very soft. If this yarn wasn't discontinued, I think I'd make myself something out of it. So that's another present for the baby. And I have 65 grams of the yarn left, so it's not really enough for another pair. I could probably make one in the smallest size, but this just is going to go back and stash for a while because I'm not going to do anything with it right now. Another thing that I had, I made this a couple of months ago. I had made myself a pair of bulky weight socks for like bedtime socks, and I had a little bit left over, and I looked up patterns and I found the pattern for little socks, so I made a pair out of the leftovers. It's Barocco Vintage Chunky. It is a cotton wool nylon blend. And the socks that I made for myself, I wore the heck out of them, like since I made them up until it got hot. I wore them a lot. And so I think these will be great to stick with those chunky red pants and baby blanket to go with that for that baby. I'm probably going to make a hat or something to go with it. Nothing that I've made so far matches each other, but that's fine. The kid can wear like one thing at a time. So they always get something from Aunt Michelle. All my new yarn projects. I have been working on the Anker tee, but you can't see any progress. And I haven't worked on it a lot because I wanted to get those other projects done so I can send them with Grandma back to the Midwest where the baby's going to be. So yeah, I have done a little bit, but not much. On my scrap yarn projects, I did work a little bit on the hats, just enough to really kind of get started. I was trying to figure out how I was going to incorporate all the assorted colors, and so I've been doing some helical knitting there to put some stripes on this. I don't know if I like it or not. I don't know if I'll keep it on there, but we're going to go with it for now. It was either that or like color block it. So there's not really enough to do any one thing. This morning, I started on the mixed rib Cami using this lace weight yarn, Treehouse yarn called Bloom. It's 100% merino. The label says lace weight. When I look it up on Ravelry, it calls it a cobweb weight, and I think it's probably more of a cobweb. It is super thin, super thin. So I cast on with the mixed rib Cami this morning, and I started to knit it. I've gotten a little bit done here, and I'm doing 2 strands together to try to make it thick enough to call it a fingering weight, but I don't think this is going to work. It's just so thin and see-through. If I had a 3rd ball, I could probably make it work with 3 strands, but that going with it and making a top, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I am going to remove this from my needles. It's not going to work. I don't know what I'll do with this yarn, but it's not going to be a mixed rib Cami. I do want to make one, so I think I might order some more appropriate merino at some point. I don't need it right now. So maybe someday when I'm placing a yarn order, I will order some and try it then. But until then, this is not going to work. I guess they think it's a racetrack out there. Okay, another thing that I worked on, I had 1 skein of Queensland Pima Fresca. It's a cotton yarn, an Aran weight cotton yarn. And so I wanted to do something with it. So I found a pattern for a thing called a Sunny crossover. It's a little like a crossbody bag. The pattern is from Sandus Garn. It's a free pattern. You can find it on Ravelry if you're really wanting to find it, or on their website, I think, as well. It is like a little, almost like a granny square motif. And you make one for each side, and then you do the top, the bottom, and the strap. Let's see if I can put that in there and make it. Well, it really doesn't help. So I did this yesterday, and I did not like the way that the pattern was written. They had you making your motif and then making part of the bottom, and then making your other motif and making part of the bottom, and sewing things together, and it seemed like more steps than it needed to be, in my opinion. So I made the motifs, both of them, and then I crocheted them together down one side, and then I just started going around and around, and the one side wasn't together yet, so I just kind of skipped across and started making my single crochet around and around till I had the bottom as long as I wanted it to be, and then I left a long enough tail to whip stitch the bottom shut. Then I joined yarn again and crocheted the other side together, and then did the same at the top, going around and around, and it was already sewn together over here, and made the top as tall as I wanted it. And then I did one round of slip stitch around the top so it won't flare out, because sometimes that stitching will stretch if you don't kind of reinforce it. So I did a round of slip stitches around it to keep it from stretching. Then I just crocheted the handles separately and sewed it on. So it's just kind of a little cell phone pouch. If we're going somewhere, don't want to carry a purse, and I still need to take my phone and maybe a couple other little tiny things, I can stick it in there. So that is what I did with that Pima Fresca. It used 73 grams, did the whole thing. I have 17 grams left, so it must not have been a completely full ball. And this, since it is cotton, I am going to stick it in with my cotton scraps, and then when I make scrappy dish rags, I'll throw it in there. So that is everything that I have for you right now. That's all I've been working on. So yeah, I'll keep working on the Anker tee and give up on the mixed rib cami. Get the baby things washed so I can ship them out next week, and work on the hats. And I'm going to find a different project with vintage yarn, something else that I can do instead of this one, because that one's just a no-go. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yarn. I really don't think I even want it. I think I just might donate it when I donate scraps to the kids at school. So if you have any ideas of things that I should make, let me know. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.